Alright, here we go. I think we're live. What's up, YouTube? I'm Johnny Rue, and I'm here with...
It's Hammer Time?
Is that your Twitter? What's your tag? It's at Hammer Time?
It's Hammer Time,
It's
two eyes.
Hammer Time, and I'm at Johnny Winston. We're both on Twitter. You can find us there. But we're here for the NFL Conference Final weekend.
Let's get it.
We're talking lineups. So let's start with the quarterback position.
Quarterbacks.
Who do you have this week, Hammer?
Quarterbacks I like Carson Palmer on the road against Carolina. Second least expensive quarterback. Panthers secondary the last couple games has been lacking.
Alright, I like Tom Brady this week. I think he's the most expensive quarterback this week, but I think he'll be worth it against Peyton Manning. I don't think they're going to be putting up too many points, so the Patriots are really going to be capitalizing on their secondary. I think Peyton's going to get injured, and Osweiler.
They do have the best secondary.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think I've got Tom Brady this week in my lineup, that's for sure. Okay, on to the running back position. Who do you got here, Hammer?
Running backs. It's pretty slim pickings due to the minimum slate, but David Johnson at 6,500 is going to be very highly owned. But I think Panthers have given up 5 or more receptions to running backs, 13 games during the regular season. That's tied for most such games in the league. I think Carson's going to be throwing a lot, and there's no one else really that's going to get work in that game besides David Johnson.
Alright, yep. I've got C.J. Anderson. He's 4,600. I think for the price, he's definitely worth giving a look. He carried 15 times for 72 yards and had a touchdown in Sunday's win over the Steelers. So I think if they resort to the run game, because I think Payton's arm's going to be a little weak, I think he's going to be getting a lot of carries, so watch out for him. Alright, on to receivers.
Alright, receivers I like... Larry Fitzgerald playing in the slot, won't be lined up against Josh Norman. John Brown will be lined up against Josh Norman. Stay away from him. And my sleeper wide receiver is Jericho,
I think. Jericho Cotchery?
Jericho?
I think Jericho. Something along those lines.
Yeah, him. Okay, I need.
Yeah, he's 2,400 this week. I think he could be a good pickup, along with Danny Amendola also.
I just think one of the cheap Panthers wide receivers is going to get into the end zone this week because there's nobody really to pick from, and the secondary is good for Arizona, which kind of puts away Ted Ginn Jr., so we'll see.
Yep, definitely. And that's all dependent, too, I think, on who you go for a quarterback this weekend. I think if you go for a stack with the Patriots, getting Danny Amendola, I think him and picking up potentially Gronk at tight end and Julian Edelman could get you some massive points. All right, so moving on to tight ends here.
It's really only Gronk and Greg Olsen, the tight ends you're playing this week, unless you're really risking it with a guy like Vernon Davis or hoping Scott Chandler gets into the end zone because maybe the Broncos will cover up on Gronk, but stay away from everybody but Gronk and Greg Olsen.
I agree. After last week's performance, too, I think Gronk is a no-doubt, no-brainer. Greg Olsen also getting so many targets from Cam. He's just always going to be his man to go to. So I think with both of these games, you're going to have high-scoring affairs on both sides. So I'd watch out for Gronk to get those red zone pickups and really get a bunch of points here against Denver.
Denver?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Moving on to defense here. I think really good pick is the Patriots here at 3,100.
Yeah,
Hammer, what do you think about them?
They're the defense this week. I like the Patriots. They're the cheapest option. And defenses facing the Broncos this year have had 4 double-digit games, which is the most out of the remaining teams in the playoffs. Yeah, like I said, cheapest option. Can use the money elsewhere in your lineup. I don't really like any of the defenses this week, but I expect maybe a Manning turnover. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I'd really watch out just for a Manning turnover potentially late in that game. So Patriots could be a big pickup, and I think at 3,100 they might be a good price. So definitely watch out for them.
So I think you should base your lineup. I definitely think you should plug in Gronk and Greg Olsen as a 2 tight end stack. And then throw in a guy like Cotchery and maybe a Fitzgerald or Edelman, depending on the quarterback, Palmer or Brady. But I think you don't have to play David Johnson, but I feel like he's for sure due for over 15 points. So it's tough.
I think he was a bit quiet in his last game. So I think David Johnson could be someone you could go without this week, being that he is expensive as well. So in my lineup, I have C.J. Anderson and Jonathan Stewart both. So I think also it's important to look for the Patriots stack in Brady and Amendola. I'm not going Edelman. I'm subbing him out for Fitzgerald, but having Gronk, Amendola, and Brady could potentially be a lot of points, so I'd watch out for that. And also, like Hammer said, the Gronk Olsen stack I think is really going to be key here, having the tight end and the tight end at flex, so I think that's definitely something to consider.
My favorite lineup this week would be Tom Brady, C.J. Anderson, Jonathan Stewart, with Danny Amendola, Cautry, Edelman wide receivers, and then Gronk and Greg Olsen, 2 tight ends, and then Patriots for the D, special teams.
For my millionaire entry lineup for tomorrow, as of now, is Tom Brady, C.J. Anderson from Denver, Jonathan Stewart, Danny Amendola, Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's going to have some key catches late in that game. We saw what happened in the last one against Green Bay, and that was pretty bad, so we'll see what happens. I have in sleeper in Carolina at wide receiver, I have Devin Funchess at 3,200. I think he's pretty cheap. He could be a big bust or he could be a boom, so watch out for him. Hopefully he gets a touchdown. I think Cam's going to be throwing the ball a lot, so watch out for that. Tight end and flex position, I have both Gronk and Olsen. I can't say it enough. I think they're both going to be a really good pair to have. They're going to get a lot of points. All right, and finally at defense, I have the Patriots. So, yep. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Good luck this weekend. Shout out Winsome. Follow us on Twitter.